He invited me to his place. I hadn't planned on meeting anyone that evening. It was one of those days when you just go out to clear your head. Vienna smelled of wet asphalt and coffee after the rain. The streets sparkled in the streetlights, and everything seemed a little more beautiful than usual. I stood outside a small coffee shop, holding a cappuccino and scrolling through my phone, more out of habit than interest. That's when he approached. "You look bored," he said. No hello, no extraneous words. I looked up. He wasn't perfect in the classic sense, but there was something captivating about him. Calm, control. He wasn't trying to impress, he just was. "Do you always start conversations like that?" I asked. "Only when I'm sure it'll work." I chuckled. And from that moment on, everything went too easily, a closeness too quickly. We started talking as if we'd known each other for a long time. He joked subtly, without any nonsense. He listened, truly, not pretending. Sometimes he asked unexpected questions that made me pause a bit. "Do you trust people more or your intuition?" "Intuition," I replied. "Then are you comfortable now?" I paused for a second. "Yes." He nodded, as if that were an important answer. Time seemed to compress. 20 minutes passed, 30 at most, but it felt like a separate little evening within an evening. And then a text from a friend arrived. "I don't have time. Let's do it another time." I exhaled quietly. He noticed. "Plans changed. Looks like it." Pause. He looked at me a little more closely. Then, "Maybe we shouldn't end the evening there." I already knew what he would say next. "It's quieter at home. We can have a normal conversation." And that's when the real internal struggle began. Decision. Don't go to strange men's homes. This thought surfaced instantly, but another followed. "You don't sense danger, do you?" I looked at him. He didn't rush. He didn't press. He just waited. And that perhaps played a decisive role. "Where do you live?" I asked. A slight smile. "Not far." And I agreed. I'm still not sure why. The road to him. We walked side by side, occasionally brushing shoulders. The conversation became quieter, not because we ran out of things to talk about. It was just that a different energy had emerged, more dense. I caught myself noticing little things. The way he moved, the way he sometimes glanced at me out of the corner of his eye, the way he slowed down slightly to match my pace. "Do you do this often?" I asked. "How?" "You take people out of their evening and bring them to yours." He chuckled. "Only if I feel it's the right decision." "For whom?" He looked at me. "Usually for both of us." Apartment. The building was old, with a high ceiling and a massive door. He opened it, letting me in first. "Come in." It was calm inside. Minimalism, cleanliness, no clutter, no unnecessary things. But it wasn't sterile either. It felt lived in. I took off my jacket. He was in no hurry to close the distance. It was strange. In situations like these, things that usually move faster, but here pauses. Conscious ones. "Wine?" he asked. "Go ahead." The game begins. We sat across from each other. Between us a table, glasses, the soft light of the lamp. "Now we can be honest," I said. "Why did you invite me here?" He didn't answer right away. He took a sip. "'Cause I found you interesting." "That's all? Isn't that enough?" I smiled. There's usually something else behind it. He leaned forward slightly. "Of course there is. But the question is, what exactly do you want to see?" This wasn't just a conversation. It was a test. Gradual tension. Time dragged strangely. We talked, laughed, sometimes fell silent, but the main thing happened in the silence. Each glance lingered a little longer than normal. Each movement became a little more deliberate. I noticed he was barely touching me at all, and that was what started to affect me the most. Anticipation. "Do you always keep your distance like this?" I asked. "Does it bother you?" "Rather, the opposite." He smiled slightly. "Mind reading." "You're currently considering whether to stay longer," he said suddenly. I froze. How do you know?" "'Cause you've already looked at your watch twice, but you haven't left." I laughed. "Maybe I'm just comfortable." "Maybe." Pause. "Or maybe you're testing the waters." It was too precise. A moment of intimacy. Okay. He stood up. Slowly, he walked toward me. But then he stopped. He didn't invade my space. He left me a choice. "Are you afraid?" he asked quietly. I looked into his eyes. Just a little. That's normal. And you? He leaned over slightly. I'm just watching. My heart began to beat faster. Not from fear. From tension. The decisive step. And in that moment, it became clear. If something happens, it will be because I wanted it to. Not him. Me. I stood up. I took a step. Another. Now there was no distance. Do you always play like this? I asked quietly. Only when there's someone with you. Afterward, I left late. The night had already fallen, the streets were almost empty. The cold air sobered me slightly, but there was still warmth inside, and a strange feeling. This wasn't a story about what happened. It was a story about tension, choice, and control. About how sometimes the most powerful thing isn't the action, but the anticipation,